I'm Jan Kraybill, and I'm the organ conservator at the Kauffman Center for the Performing Arts. The Julia Irene Kauffman Casavant pipe organ is quite unique. It's unique in two ways. One is that organs, pipe organs in general, are unique. They're all works of art, and they're all created slightly differently. So that what I do at one particular instrument, both from a standpoint of taking care of it and from a standpoint of playing it, is very different from what I would do with the very same piece of music someplace else. Normally, my role entails welcoming guest organists here when they're going to perform with the symphony or in a solo concert. I make sure that they're comfortable, and of course I make sure that the organ is perfectly in tune and operational so that they'll have a great experience. During COVID, my role has been every month I come in and I check the organ. I climb through all of the pipes. There are over 5,000 pipes in this instrument. And then I play and I adjust things that need adjusting so that when we are back in the center and we're performing with this instrument, we're ready for that. When I first turn on the pipe organ, what you hear is this intake of breath. There are blowers in the basement that I check each month, and I make sure that they're operating well. They supply the air for the organ. That air then comes into what I call the lungs, so the places where the air is stored until I need it to go through a pipe. These are some of what I call the lungs of the organ. They are air reservoirs. So the blowers in the basement are producing air. It's these reservoirs that kind of make the air acceptable for the ranks of pipes that need to play at the certain air pressure for a pipe. So for instance, a flute pipe takes a lot less air pressure than a trumpet pipe does. They each take the same amount of air volume, but the pressure is different for those two sets of pipes. So I'm about to open one of the many doors to the rooms of pipes in this organ. The reason pipes need to be in rooms is because of these shutters. So there are things that look like gas pedals at my feet when I'm at the console. And if I close those, it closes the rooms where the pipes are, and it makes them sound softer. So that's the reason pipes are in rooms. I'm about to inspect one of the roomful of pipes in this organ. These are some of the loudest pipes in the organ, and they correspond to the top keyboard of the four that I play with my hands. And they're unique because they're what we call hooded. They're bent at the top, so it focuses their sound out, and it affects the quality of that sound too. So these are trumpet pipes, but they're going to sound like a more muted trumpet, maybe like a mellophone, that kind of trumpet, just because of their shape. These are just some of the pipes in the organ. This is maybe, a sixth of the total pipes in the organ. We're at level 4 of 6 different levels in this instrument. And as you can see, it takes all sorts of shapes and sizes of pipes. These all happen to be metal pipes, but in front you can see a lot of the wooden pipes of this organ. Every pipe is constructed differently so that we get a different sound, a trumpet or a flute or something different out of each pipe. Now, what I'm looking for as I'm up here is I'm looking for evidence of critters because I don't want them building their houses out of our house. And I'm looking for mechanical things. There were some things that I felt when I was playing earlier on that tell me that some adjustments are needing to be made. When I was playing with my left hand on the F below middle C, I felt that it was kind of sluggish, that the pipe didn't speak right when I pushed the key down. And so I'll look at those mechanical mechanical connections at every angle to see if I can figure out why that pipe just felt sluggish, that key felt sluggish. What I heard were some slightly out of tune pipes that I just need to adjust for tuning before the performance. So it's one thing to feel that sluggish key, and I, as a musician, know what note it was, but to figure out where it is in these 6 floors of pipes and where the connections are that I need to look at, that just takes a lot of familiarity with this particular organ. As I said, every organ is different. Every organ is designed differently. So where that particular key or that particular pipe is different for every single organ. So I now know this organ, but it did take me years to become familiar with every single part of this organ, and I'm still learning because it's such a complicated machine. So every time the technicians are here, I'm asking them lots of questions. So when you build a pipe organ, you design it, and then it gets fully constructed in the factory where it's being built. In this case, it was in St. Hyacinthe, which is in the Quebec province of Canada. And once it was built, then the organ consultant went to St. Hyacinthe to test it out and to suggest any modifications, which were then done there. When everything was perfect, then it was all broken down. It was put on many semi-tractor trailers and brought to Kansas City. And it was all spread out in parts like a Lego set on the stage downstairs. And eventually it was all constructed here. And I find things like these numbers to be fascinating. So each of the pieces in the organ are numbered, and you go with the plans and you reconstruct the entire organ. All the thousands of pipes, all the thousands of connections, everything that an organ needs, and you put it all together just like a Lego set.